Good to see you. I think a lot of people in church will be sick of the sight of you on Zoom because you are rooted group leaders. And so for the last 12 months, you've been meeting at least weekly with people through computers. And that sort of digital connection has been something that we've really gotten used to over the last 12 months, isn't it? But I wanted to speak to you about something other than rooted on Zoom this morning, a couple of the various ministries that you guys have been involved with over the years in church, that perhaps people would have thought that the pandemic and forced closures and all these sorts of things might have had a massive impact on. So firstly, one of the things you guys have been involved with for a long, long time is Open the Book. What's happened with Open the Book over the last 12 months? Tell us.
Well, we were very worried, to say the least, isn't it, when the pandemic started and the schools were closed, and we thought, well, what's going to happen to Open the Book? This might be the end for us now for a while at least. But we decided to get together once a month as a team and to discuss what could be happening. And we decided, well, somebody came up with the idea that why don't we record our stories and the acting and the whole presentation, and then that we could just email it to the schools with their link that they could connect to, so that they could show the stories once a month, and they could choose their time. Then they could either show it to the different classes or to the whole school. It was entirely up to them. So we went digital. That's what we decided to do. Well, not that we could do anything about the digital side of it. That's all up. We've got Ian on board, and he takes care of all that and makes sure that the videos, whatever you call them, that go out to the school are presented well. And they seem to be very pleased with them at the moment. Well, the two schools that we visit regularly, which is Saron and Brobanu, were both very, very keen to have it presented to them in this way, and they were really excited, and we've had good feedback. We know that they're using the videos that we send to them every month, so they were really happy. But another thing that's happened, we found that it's opened more doors for us to go to other schools as well, because we haven't got to go in person now. We can just present our Bible story digitally. So we've just heard today that from next month we'll be starting in T Cross School. We made inquiries for Llandybia, waiting to hear from them. So really, it's opened more doors for us and opened more schools that we can present the stories.
So rather than being kind of shrunked or slowed down by the pandemic, it's actually meant that, you're a fixed number of people that you can take the stories to even more schools, potentially.
Yes. It's really expanded the work.
Which is awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Now, for those people who aren't maybe familiar with your faces through Zoom, people who are part of your rooted group, which has grown during the pandemic, I know a couple of people have joined you. Everybody else in church will recognize you as the folks who sit down the front of the church, pulling funny faces and waving and signaling and gesticulating in all manner sort of way. You are kind of the lead guys in our church in the deaf signing ministry. So we haven't had deaf signing on a Sunday morning on YouTube and Facebook and things like that. So presumption is nothing's going on in the deaf community at the moment. It's just waiting until we can get back in person, ... or not. Why don't you tell us what's been going on there in the deaf community?
Well, we were approached by Adam Gutchard whether we join the team regarding the new church opening in Carmarthen, which they want to open or run a meeting once a month. And so we had a meeting and met up regarding signing and interpreting. And then we started meeting up, holding a service. And it's progressed, and we have numerous people online. As far as London, coming on to listen within the deaf community and world, and it's been really good. We've also been approached by a church to do the sign-in for the Tiny Tots program, which is similar to you would see on the news when you see the minister come in and then you see the signer standing to his right-hand side. Similar to that on screen, we're in the bottom right-hand corner and we sign the stories. But it's quite busy. Yeah.
So there have been new opportunities, and especially that church that you're speaking about, the monthly. That's a deaf church.
Yes.
That is, it's not just a church happening which has somebody on the side making it accessible for deaf people, but it's literally a church for deaf people, an outreach to deaf people, and it's monthly. How many months has it been going now that you've been part of it?
3 months.
Okay, so it's fresh, it's new, but it's already showing signs of life and fruit and excitement, like you say, drawing people from a much larger geographical sort of region than you might have guessed otherwise. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, house group means a lot to us, and we've got a great crowd, and we thoroughly enjoy meeting on a Wednesday night and sharing and studying together. And because we started the Tuesday morning coffee morning, and we were thrilled a bit to have 15 on Tuesday, and we had a good old chat and a great time together. It really was nice to see so many and once again, see faces and a good old talk. Yeah, it's really good. Really.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad to see that while pandemic and coronavirus has put the kibosh on loads of things, it hasn't slowed you guys down. It hasn't shrunk our view of ministry or the opportunities that we've got to serve. But you two and the things that you're involved in are a great example of just, we are where we are. Let's do what we're going to do. And I think that's awesome. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being willing to share about these. And